All right, today we are diving deep into a country that's so much more than just a spot on the map. It's a living, breathing story woven from ancient history, absolutely mind-blowing art, and innovations that literally changed the world. We're talking about Italy.
Think about it, a legacy that built the very foundations of the entire Western world. A cultural explosion that completely rewrote the rules for art and science.
The home of just, unparalleled genius.
And a place where that exact same ancient passion is now channeled into these incredible marvels of modern design and speed. So the big question is, where did this all begin? To really understand Italy, we've got to rewind the clock way back. How did Il Bel Paese, the beautiful country, become the cultural giant it is today? Well, this story is a long one. It stretches across thousands of years. It all kicks off with the founding of Rome way back in 753 BCE, just one city that would eventually balloon into one of the greatest empires in history. Then you fast forward to the 14th century, when Florence becomes the cradle of the Renaissance, a movement that would change how we think about everything. And that story keeps evolving right into the modern era, like in 1945, when Italy looked to a new future and gave women the right to vote. Each of these moments is a critical building block of the Italy we know now.
But, Italy's story isn't just carved into stone monuments. It's alive, right now, in its people. You really find the nation's soul in how Italians talk, how they learn, and how they express themselves.
For instance, in Italy, having a conversation is a full contact sport. Get this, there are an estimated 250 different hand gestures used in everyday chats. Words are really only part of the story. It's this incredibly rich visual language that's just woven into the fabric of communication.
And that passion, it's not just for talking, it's for knowledge itself. Italy is home to one of the oldest universities in the entire world, the University of Bologna, founded all the way back in 1088. This created a legacy of education and pure intellectual curiosity that's been going strong for almost 1,000 years.
And of course, that passion for life really comes alive through food and celebrations. This is where Italian culture becomes something you can actually taste and feel.
Let's talk about the most famous pizza on the planet. Its origin story is just pure Italian charm. So in 1889, a chef named Raffaele Esposito gets asked to make a pizza for Queen Margherita. What does he do? He tops it with red tomatoes, white mozzarella, and green basil to look just like the Italian flag. A patriotic dish for a queen. And boom, a global icon is born. And what goes better with pizza than wine? Well, in Italy, wine isn't just a drink. It's part of daily life. They're the world's largest wine producer, so maybe it's not a huge shock that the average Italian drinks almost 100 liters every single year.
This love of life just explodes in their festivals. You've got the mysterious and elegant masked balls of the Carnival of Venice, the raw, intense, historic passion of the Palio horse race in Siena. And then there's the truly wild Battle of the Oranges, a gigantic food fight that actually symbolizes a medieval rebellion. But that creative spirit, it goes way beyond the kitchen or the festival. Italian ingenuity has actually had a fundamental role in shaping the modern world we live in, all through incredible invention and design. When we think of Italian creation, our minds usually jump to art, but the impact is so much bigger. This is the culture that gave us everyday things like eyeglasses and a thermometer, the incredible complexity of the piano, and even completely new art forms like opera, which had its debut in Florence way back in 1598. And that legacy of brilliant design and craftsmanship is still alive and well today. Italy is the undisputed birthplace of the supercar. Legendary names like Ferrari and Lamborghini, they represent the absolute peak of automotive art and engineering. So where can you see all this history, art, and passion collide? Well, it's literally etched into the cobblestone streets of Italy's timeless cities. Let's take a quick look at a few iconic spots. First up, Rome's spectacular Trevi Fountain. You've probably seen people throwing coins into it, right? Well, the legend says that if you toss a coin over your shoulder into the water, you're guaranteed to come back to the Eternal City someday. It's a little tradition that connects millions of people right to the heart of Rome. Now, let's hop over to Venice and its famous Bridge of Sighs. The name sounds lovely, but the original story is actually pretty heartbreaking. It connected the palace interrogation rooms to a prison, and it was the very last glimpse of beautiful Venice that convicts would ever see, which made them sigh.
Of course, today there's a much more romantic legend. A kiss and a gondola underneath it is said to grant eternal love. And of course, you can't forget the Leaning Tower of Pisa. This global icon is famous entirely because of a mistake. It was built on soft ground, and it started tilting almost as soon as they started building it. This beautiful error took 200 years to finish, and now it's one of the most beloved architectural quirks in the world.
But Italy's beauty isn't all man-made. To really get this country, you have to look beyond the marble and the ancient stone to its wild, absolutely breathtaking natural landscapes. I mean, from the jaw-dropping cliffs of the Amalfi Coast to the impossibly serene beauty of Lake Como, a place so cinematic it's been in Bond films, Italy's landscapes are just incredible. And they have this raw power, too, perfectly embodied by Mount Etna, one of the most active volcanoes on the planet, a constant reminder of the powerful forces that built this land.
So when you boil it all down, Italy is a nation defined by these amazing contrasts. It's a place where you can literally walk through the ruins of the ancient Roman Forum in the morning and be surrounded by Milan's cutting-edge fashion scene by evening. It's where timeless tradition and bold innovation just exist, side by side, creating a culture that is totally unique. So from empire to opera, from pasta to Ferrari, the story of Italy is really one of a passion that just never fades. It leaves us with one final thought. In a country where there's a story hiding around every single corner, what secrets do you think are waiting there for you to find?